Hare Krishna. We continue reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 5, Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. We are on text 23. Shaknoti heva yashodhum praksharira vimokshanat kama krodh bhavam vegam sayukta sasukhi naraha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Before giving up this present body, if one is able to tolerate the urges of the material senses and check the force of desire and anger, he is well situated and is happy in this world. If one wants to make steady progress on the path of self-realization, he must try to control the forces of the material senses. So if we really are serious about self-realization, then we need to control our senses. We need to control our mind. Because if we are just going to be so engrossed in gratifying the senses and doing whatever the mind tells us to do, then how will we have time to cultivate Krishna consciousness? How will we get the time? So there are forces of talk, forces of anger, forces of mind, forces of the stomach, forces of the genitals, and forces of the tongue. One who is able to control the forces of all these different senses and mind is called Goswami or Swami. So Vacho Vegam Manasa Krodho Vegam is the first verse of Sri Upadeshamrita, Nectar of Instruction by Srila Rupa Goswami. That this is not even bhakti, but this is just a doorway that control your mind, control your anger, control your senses, control your genitals, control your tongue, the stomach, and in this way, control the different senses and the mind. And then we call the Goswami or a Swami. One, Goswami. Go is the senses. Swami is master. One who is the master of the senses. Now we have become Godasa. What means Godas? Servant of the senses. Eyes will say, do this. Mind will say, do this. Ears will say, hear this. And we say, oh, yes, 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 yes. But we are supposed to become Goswami, control the forces of anger, mind, genitals, stomach, tongue. So such Goswamis live strictly controlled lives and forego altogether the forces of the senses. Material desires, when unsatiated, generate anger, and thus the mind, eyes, and chest become agitated. So why do we get angry? Krishna says that in the second chapter, I think it's in the second, that how, second or third, anyway, how do we get angry? Is because when our desire is not fulfilled, we have a certain type of a desire, lust, that it becomes very strong and we really want something to happen, or we really want something, or we really don't want something not to happen, whatever it may be. So that strong lust, strong desires there. And when that is not fulfilled, we get angry. And how is this strong lust developed in the heart? Just by contemplation, just by thinking about it, by thinking, oh, it'll be so nice if this thing happens, or what. Just by slight thinking about it, we get attached to it. Once we get attached to it, then we want it. Then when it doesn't happen, we get angry. And so then what happens? When we are angry, the mind, eyes, and chest become agitated. Therefore, one must practice to control them before one gives up this material body. One who cannot do this is understood. One who can do this is understood to be self-realized and is thus happy in the state of self-realization. So one who's able to complete his anger, stomach, forces of stomach, force of genitals, force of mind, then he is self-realized. He's on the Brahman platform, Brahmabhuta. Na shochati na kankshati samasarveshu bhuteshu. And he is happy in the state of self-realization. Anandomaya bhyasyat, because the soul is always happy. It is the duty of the transcendentalist to try strenuously to control desire and anger. So we should try to control this desire and anger. And Lord Chaitanya told us that by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, everything will happen. He said everything will hear and chant. The more we hear and chant, more we hear and chant, our desires, material desires, our sinful reactions are gone away. Then because of that, the mind is more peaceful, more calm, not so agitated. The material desires gradually reduce, just by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. That's why we are advised continuously hear and chant, hear and chant. So we'll read the next one. Yo anta sukho antar aramas tathantar jyotir eva yaha sayogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhuto digachati. One whose happiness is within, who is active and rejoices within, and whose aim is inward, is actually the perfect mystic. He is liberated in the Supreme, and ultimately he attains the Supreme. Unless one is able to relish happiness from within, how can one retire from the external engagements meant for deriving superficial happiness? So we are always trying to think that we will be happy. Something external is going to come and make us happy. That's what we are thinking. This person will make me happy, or this circumstance will make me happy, or this country, or this place, or this movie, or this song. Anything. We are thinking something external will come and make us happy. We are not able to understand we are the soul. We are Anandamaya Bhyasya. The soul is always happy. Satchid Ananda. But because we are not able to relish it, we are not able to realize it, we are looking for this happiness outside. We are looking for it outside. A liberated person enjoys happiness by factual experience. He's experiencing the happiness. Nobody has to tell him he's happy. Just like when we eat food, nobody has to tell us, hey, your hunger is finished. Now you're satisfied. No, we just feel it. So, liberated person, he's factually happy because he's on the platform of the soul. He can therefore sit silently at any place and enjoy the activities of life from within. Such a liberated person no longer desires external material happiness. This state is called Brahmabhuta, attaining which one is assured of going back to Godhead, back to home. So when a devotee achieves this Brahmabhuta platform, the state is called Brahmabhuta. Krishna is saying, once one is able to really come to this position, then you go back home, back to Godhead. So we are all encouraged to come to this point, even while we are living in this body. And the easiest way to do it is hear and chant, hear and chant. So here we hear and chant. When we are liberated, we hear and chant. We hear and chant in the spiritual world. We go back home and we hear and chant. That's what is the Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma of the soul. Of the soul. So, any questions or comments? If not, then we'll stop here for today. Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.